Welcome to episode 148 of the XS Noize Podcast. I'm Mark Millar. Thanks for listening. In this episode, I speak to Michael C. Hall, Peter Yanowitz and Matt Katz-Bohen from Princess Goes about their second album, Come of Age. If you missed the previous episode, I spoke to Taylor and Lauren Johnson of Brand New Friend. So check it out, and if you like the podcast, please subscribe on your favourite listening platform, give us a rating, and leave a comment. Princess Goes are back with Come of Age, the follow-up to their critically acclaimed 2021 debut, Thanks for Coming. Come of Age is the trio's most accessible yet innovative work to date, replete with songs that traverse a thrilling and often surprising sonic and lyrical landscape. In this interview, Michael, Peter and Matt discuss the making of the album, upcoming live shows and lots more. So sit back, relax and enjoy the XS Noize Podcast with Michael, Peter and Matt from Princess Goes. Hi Michael, hi Peter, hi Matt. Welcome back to the XS Noize Podcast.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Well, I spoke when you released your brilliant debut album, Thanks for Coming, in 2021. The album was critically acclaimed and very well received indeed. So how pleased were you about that?
We loved it. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of people got it. We played, we did a great tour, we played in the UK and Ireland, and it was played here a bunch all over the US, and we loved the reception.
Were you surprised at how successful it was and how well it was received?
Yeah, I mean, it was our first record, so we're still feeling like we're turning people onto it, so I don't know if we were surprised. We were pretty happy with the result, but you never know how it's going to react with people, and we were really happy with the people that did pay attention, really liked it.
You have dropped to the Butterfly Museum and you're now known as Princess Goes. So why drop the full band name?
A lot of it was financial. We found that when we tour, people charge by the letter for the kiosk, and it was really expensive. And we also we just didn't feel like Princess. While the Butterfly Museum is a great place, we didn't think she should be relegated to going only there. We want her to kind of be wide open in terms of where she might be able to go. Plus, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, and if you can cut costs on touring, you might as well, because it's very expensive as it is.
Also,
days.
There were more than a couple people sent me screenshots of a search of the band on their phone. When it was vertical, it would just say "Princess Goes to the Butt." So that was a lot of things.
So you're about to release your brilliant second album, Come of Age. So it's not long after your debut album. So when did you start this one?
I'd say like straight away, right? And maybe even some of it was written as we were writing Thanks for Coming. I don't think we stopped writing for the first 4 years of the band. But the last 2 years, 100%, we were writing up until this summer, I think, finishing stuff.
Did you go into the recording of Come of Age with any preconceived ideas how it should sound and what kind of songs you wanted to write about this time?
I don't think so. No, I think we try to stay away from preconceived ideas about songs and let them just form, which you can hear on the record. There's certain songs like Jetpack, which start off as one thing and end up in a completely different sonic territory. So, which I love when songs do that.
We had a couple songs that we written that we were excited about. And then once you have 2 and then maybe 3 and then maybe 4 songs, you can kind of see where the rest of the album could go, or you get at least a bit of a picture of what the album's going to be like. So it helps shape the rest of the album maybe.
And Michael, for you as a singer, are there any rituals or routines you follow to get into the creative mindset when you're about to do your vocals?
Not really. I mean, sometimes I try to warm up my voice depending on what time of day it is, and sometimes I don't. Not, no, I don't know that I really. I mean, there were probably some things I do unconsciously that I'm not even thinking of. But not really. I think I just a lot of what the vocal wants to be, reveals itself as I work and record with with Peter and Matt, and I think just to try to come in with an idea that I'm prepared to abandon. I think that's the key.
And what's the meaning behind the album title, Come of Age? Does it mean that you think you've come of age musically as a band in your second album? What is it?
That's maybe a part of it. I mean, I think as far as it was just an instinct to go with what we did on the first album, which was to use a track title as the album title, and Come of Age felt like the right one. It was 3 words again. And the first word is a form of the third word of thanks for coming, and then come of age. It just I think it felt right as much as anything. I don't think there was a grand sort of idea, though. I suppose maybe we have cohered or coalesced or crystallized or whatever it is, and among the ways in which come of age could be interpreted would be that maybe our sound has come of age. Not that we feel like we won't come of some new age in the future, but yeah, it just ultimately I think it just felt right, and we didn't really analyze it beyond that.
In the music business, there's the term difficult second album. Did you find that with this album?
Not at all. I mean, I've been in bands before where you just dread your sophomore album, and that wasn't the case in this band. And I think we're gonna have at least I'm dreading our third album, because this album we definitely threw everything we had into it. I'm not dreading our third album, but it is this album feels like we were just continuing the work that we started 5 years ago, and we were, honing in our sound. And maybe this album tonally is a little more focused than the other 2 albums we put out, the EP and Thanks for Coming. But we didn't hold back. I've also been in bands where you sometimes, your manager will tell you, oh, you guys should hold on to a couple of these songs for your next record. And we, which is sort of a cowardly approach to, you're like, oh, we're not, we need to save some of our good material because we'll need it on the next record. And we don't have that attitude at all. We're like, no, let's go with our best foot forward. And that's definitely what it feels like the end result came out to be.
I mean, we have a ton of material that's amazing. And I feel like we have a third album that I feel like we could put out in another month, but we're going to wait and sit and, see what else comes up over the next year. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of ideas just bubbling and percolating all the time. And, so it's pretty exciting to see what's going to happen this next round.
Talk to me about the cover of the new record with the butterfly skull. It looks really, really cool. Who came up with the concept for that?
Oh, that was Tim Richardson, the guy who directed the Shimmer video. Did the cover art as well. And when we originally spoke with him, we hadn't yet changed or shortened our name, and he was interested in really leaning into that and using it as part of the iconography for the cover art. But in a way, I think it's a nice kind of transition from that name. It's a skull of albino butterflies or something like that, and it's sort of saying goodbye to it, crystallizing it, and again, it's something that started to emerge in terms of his instinct, and we were really lucky to find an artist of his capability who also just instinctively intuited things that were in sync with how we intuitively feel about the song Shimmer, how we feel about the band generally, how we feel about images that might lend themselves to representing our sound. So a lot of it was just enjoying the fact that we were collaborating with an artist who just got us and was able to execute certain things in the way none of us can. We're not, graphic artists on the like him. So, he was able to kind of represent our sound and our music in an image and images that just felt right, and we just let him run with it.
Yeah, the video was absolutely fantastic. It reminds me of the Apple ad from years ago, from 1984.
Totally.
It's fantastic. And it was Shimmer was the first single you put out. It's about connection and humanity's, need to be heard. Why did you put that out first? Why did you think that represented the album the most?
No, that was actually when we first approached Tim Richardson. We gave him I think the whole album, and we said, what song? At this point we weren't signed yet. We eventually got signed for Come of Age, but we were still self-releasing, and so we were very collaborative. And Tim picked Shimmer out. I believe it was Tim's wife Marla, who is a choreographer who also helped work on that video. She picked that one, and Tim went along with it because he thought it was a good idea. And so, again, I don't even know if we ever intended it to be the first single, but yeah, I guess we did kind of. But yeah, so Tim picked it and went with it, and we went with Tim. Yeah,
there's so many great tracks on the album. Tell me about the song Beja. Is it about Beja Flo, who supported the band on the last tour?
Yeah, the lyrics were inspired by our experience with her on tour and her live performance and stories she would tell, and it just sort of like flights of fancy beyond that. But yeah, but then musically it was something that Peter had, at least the germ of the musical construction of it was pre-existed Beja.
Well, it's a great track. My favorite song on the album is Glasswing. Well, it's a toss-up between that or Whatever Happens. I love them both. What can you tell me about those songs?
Yeah, Glasswing is one of those 2-chord songs throughout the entire song. It's the same 2 chords, just where the melodies and the musical arrangement changes a little bit to make it not get boring. But it was a 2-chord song using a lot of lo-fi 80s sounds, Oberheim, and really dumb kind of old drum machine sounds. And that was how it started. And then Matt played some amazing guitar on it, and it's kind of one of the I love when we can make a song where Matt gets to have an actual solo on the guitar, which a lot of people think is a guitar, but it's actually a guitar. And then the words have their own angle to it, which I won't speak to, but Mike, you want?
Yeah, the first verse is actually basically inspired. It's a collage of butterfly names, basically, and then the other lyrics emerged from another series of harrowing episodes, and then the chorus was maybe a nod to both. Yeah.
The last song, Floating, it's a perfect way to end the album. When you're writing the album, do you always think about the beginning, the middle, and end, and a bit like a movie?
I think we write the songs and then arrange them in a way that feels appropriate, so the album is constructed. We have a group of songs, and certain songs fall away and certain songs remain, and then we went back and forth for quite a while on this one, figuring out a sequence that felt right. But Floating seemed to be a nice. I mean, I think in a way that the feeling of the songs do something similar to what's happening visually in the Shimmer video. It's kind of churning and dark and weaving its way, but it's finding its way towards maybe the light or something, some cracks in the dystopian darkness, and becomes a bit more cracked open as it moves through.
Each of you have a song on the album that is probably your most favorite. The one that what would be the song that would sort of mean the most to you, or enjoy performing live the most?
That's a hard question.
Some of them we haven't performed live ever, so it's going to be interesting to actually try them and see.
Yeah, we'll learn a new sort of level of, or discover the songs in new ways when we go out and play them live. But I always feel like my favorite song is the one we're playing when we're playing it, because it's all that's happening. But thankfully, we don't have any songs where I'm like, let's just get through this song so we can get to the one I really like. I mean, I like playing them all.
Jetpack is coming out as a single this Friday, and that song, I think all three of us would agree is one of our top favorites, just because it kind of captures, I think, the band really well. What we do, the quiet, groovy, the heavy, dark, seems like a combo platter of what we like to do.
Is there going to be a video to accompany with that song? Because it's a fantastic song.
Yeah, we did a lyric video, so it'll be a little more subdued, but cool video.
Eat an Eraser from your debut album. It's your most streamed song on Spotify. Why do you think that song has resonated with people the most?
The bass.
Well, it's a journey. It's a simple song, and it's deceptive in its arrangement. It's just another one of those simple 4-chord songs, and the lyrics take you on a really, really sweet trip. And I think it also harkens back to maybe like Bela Lugosi's Dead kind of nostalgia, maybe for times when songs just didn't necessarily adhere to a certain type of structure and just allowed themselves to be a little more untethered. I don't know. It's a good question. We were just talking about it, maybe because we do need to add a couple more songs to the.
Eat an Eraser? Talking about?
Are you saying ketamine, right?
Eat an Eraser.
Oh.
Eat an Eraser. You were talking about ketamine.
I was talking about ketamine. Just fuck off to whatever I just said. Sorry.
The really sad thing is nothing you said felt conspicuous. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, no, it's not. What's he talking about? Yeah, that's but I would agree that the lyrical journey of Eat an Eraser is it's kind of deceptive because it's very pretty melodies, but then when you read the lyrics, you're sort of like, it's kind of dark, but it's about making peace with that, acceptance. That's what I take away from that.
We sort of mentioned you did a very successful tour. You sold out shows in the UK, US and Ireland at the end of 2021. How much did you enjoy those shows of being out on the road?
Incredible. Just tremendous enjoyment.
Yeah, it was a weird time because it was still on that, heavy COVID times. So that wasn't necessarily ideal, but it was really just wonderful for us to go over there and feel accepted and understood and immediately taken in. And let's face it, there's such incredible audiences over there in England, Ireland, and Wales. And so we hope to be playing over there for a long time to come.
Well, funny you mentioned COVID. I missed your show at the Ulster Sports Club in Belfast because I had COVID. So I was very upset that I couldn't make it, but I heard it was an amazing show.
Nice.
It was. I loved that venue and that gig. It was really a good one.
Yeah, I was pissed off I couldn't be there.
It's one of the most intimate gigs of the tour to me. Everyone was just like right around you, right there.
And you've also announced another UK headline tour, which kicks off in September, the 26th of September in Manchester. Now, Manchester has a rich musical heritage. Are you fans of any of the bands from there?
Most definitely. Happy Mondays, the whole factory scene.
Yeah.
Joy Division, right? They're not. Is Joy Division from Manchester?
Yeah, New Order, Joy Division.
Come on.
Johnny Marr, Smiths, obviously. Yeah, I mean, you could just talk about that. And people have just talked about that for endlessly hours. But yeah, Manchester's It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Always loved visiting there, playing there. Night and Day Cafe, I think we played last time, which was, that show sticks out as well. That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Can you share any memorable or funny anecdotes from your time touring or performing live?
Can we share any memories from the tour?
Yeah, anything you could mention, something funny that happened, or maybe there's stuff you can't talk about. Something that you can actually mention on air.
I mean, we met Molly. Beja Flo's name is Molly. We met her and had a great old time with her.
We, just every time I went to the bathroom, I would just get hit on relentlessly in toilet stalls. People passing their numbers underneath the stall. No, I'm kidding, but it could have happened. Maybe it did. Maybe it happened.
All the best stuff happened on stage. Very subdued and boring otherwise.
In the music industry, there's often challenges and obstacles. What's the most significant hurdle you face as a band, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, I think in today's music biz, there's just so many songs coming out every day, every hour. It's so much music coming at people. So I think the hardest thing for all bands is just, especially the bands that aren't already popular, is just getting eyes and ears on your stuff. So I would say that's something that we haven't overcome at all, and are always trying to widen our audience. But yeah, I think that's personally what I find the hardest part and about being in the music business in 2023 is just cutting through all the noise and getting heard by people and getting, your songs listened to. That's really hard. Seems like it would be easier, but it's not.
Just a few more, guys. I'd like to ask my guests the following questions, and this is for each of you to answer. If you could go back and relive one musical moment from your career, what would it be?
I got to sing the Black Star album was nominated among a bunch of other albums for an award in the UK, and I got to sing one of Bowie's songs at the Hammersmith Ballroom that night. In that celebration, it's like a bunch of other bands were there. I think Skepta that won the award, but performing on a stage that Bowie himself did, Ziggy Stardust, was pretty heady. I'd maybe do that again.
Amazing.
I was in a band called the Morningwood in New York, a New York kind of rock band that Matt, that's when I met Matt back in that day, because he was in a band called Daddy. But Morningwood was about to get signed to Columbia Records, and we went to, at the last minute, Capitol Records found out that Columbia was going to sign us. So they were like, we want the band to come out. And I'll try to tell this really fast. But so we flew out really quickly to California to play a showcase for Capitol, and they put us in this garage. And we were like, what the fuck? Like, they want us to showcase in somebody's garage. It was like a bar mitzvah PA. And we were just like, this sucks. And we were all pissed. And we were like, fuck Capitol. And then I don't know, I think that anger helped us fuel our musical angst. And we just went into the garage and just ripped it up. And the president of the label came in and he was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it kind of helped us get signed to Capitol. So I think that was, and then we were just like, oh shit. And we got a much better deal. And it was, Capitol still fucked the record up, but it was fun to get signed like that and just go in and, win like that. It was pretty cool.
In the garage. I'd probably say mine was playing shitty clubs in New York in the early 2000s. That would be a fun thing to relive. But also playing the Carlisle with Debbie Harry in 2015. And one night RuPaul was there, and it's a pretty small room, and RuPaul sticks out. He's like 6'5". And John Waters was also there. And it was pretty cool to be able to play this amazing acoustic grand piano in a small room with maybe 100 people, including RuPaul, John Waters, Debbie and I, and a bunch of other friends.
For us music fans, music is the soundtrack to our memories. What song or album, when you listen to it, brings back the best memories for you?
I was at a summer stock theater in Vermont one summer, and I had this old Toyota Celica that had cassette tape player, and there was a tape that was stuck in there, and it was Astral Weeks by Van Morrison, and so it played on a loop my entire summer, and was the perfect soundtrack to sort of a northern Vermont bucolic buzzing summer. And whenever I hear that music, it just brings that time back to life.
Great album.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'll say maybe Beastie Boys, Check Your Head. Just fitting with the theme of, they just dedicated Beastie Boys Square here in New York.
Yep.
I think it's on Book, and just a perfect album from that year, 92. Great summer vibe.
I'm going to go with my standard Smells Like Teen Spirit Nirvana Nevermind record. I got an advanced cassette of it before it came out because my friend worked at Geffen, and I was visiting him at Geffen, and he gave me the cassette in advance, and I put it in my shitty car cassette player and listened to it on the way out of the parking lot. And I knew like within the first few beats that it was going to just fuck everything up.
All great albums. I own them all as well. Absolutely fantastic. Can I just squeeze this one in? And this is for you, Mike. I'll have to ask you the obligatory Dexter question. The last time we spoke, you were about to begin filming Dexter New Blood. Absolutely fantastic series. Yep. Dexter was shot dead in the finale by Harrison. Could Dexter return as Harrison's subconscious in a new series, and would you be up for it?
I'm disinclined to say definitively anything, but I suppose it's possible. in the universe of I know that there are people who want to keep things going in one way or another. So maybe, but I have no plans, no immediate plans to do that.
Or is Dexter really dead? You never know. Guys, well, you're here. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? Anything else coming up? Anything you need to mention?
Thank you so much, dude. Thank you, and I hope to see you at a show soon.
Yeah, come back to Belfast. Yeah. Hopefully I don't have COVID the next time.
Absolutely. We hope you see you there.
Well, guys, thanks very much. Wish you all the best with the album, and see you down the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. Take care.
Bye.